Hey everyone, welcome back to my silly little channel. Today we're talking about my experience with Huevember and OC-tober. I decided to do both of these together because, well, I wanted to do both, so why not mix it? This is the second video, so if you missed the first video, check it out if you want. As a quick recap, Huevember is a challenge you do in November where you draw in every color of the color wheel, and OC-tober is a month-long challenge in October where you just draw your OCs. OC-tober usually comes with a prompt list, and I chose a prompt list by Benji Weird. I saw it on Pinterest, so I was like, this is lit. So yeah, I don't have any speed paints from day 1 to like day 19. Yeah, so that sucks. Hope you enjoy the video anyway. I will try to make it interesting. I chose to do these prompts because I want to develop my characters a bit more. I haven't really been doing that, so I figured that this was a good way to do it. So let's get into it, gang. Day 8. Day 8's prompt is sadness and the color is orange. So, with a prompt being sad, you wouldn't expect it to be like this vibrant, energetic color, but that's how the turntables. So I decided to relate this piece to lore to make the theme more interesting to me. In Celeste's culture, angels cut their hair when someone passes away, which is why we see Celeste's hair short in the time period that my comic is based in. My main vision of Celeste is actually an angel with really long hair. So let's just say that she has a lot of baggage. Had to do it to one of them. Celeste has 5 older siblings and 3 younger siblings, and she never really wanted to leave them behind, but that's what ends up happening in the story. Sorry, Celeste. There's a lot to unpack with her family, but I'll probably do that in an intro to my characters video, so stay tuned for that if you want to know more about Celeste. So anyways, this is Celeste cutting her hair back on her home planet in her own bathroom. This piece is set after her older brother goes missing. He was especially close to Celeste because they're 1 year apart. They basically grew up together. And Celeste feels like especially sad and guilty about him and around his disappearance because to put my interest in Villainous Mano into this, they were going home from a party and people attacked them, and her brother risked his life to save hers. And basically after this incident, he hasn't been seen again. The palace the palace says that he died, but Celeste doesn't believe this. So, as per societal norms, Celeste did cut her hair. She cut it a bit longer than what is usual, but nobody's going to mention that about the crown princess while she's in mourning. Maybe a few sneaky nobles would, but Celeste doesn't really give a damn, so yeah, she desperately believes that he is out there somewhere living his life, and she wants to go find him eventually. This drawing is set in the early morning, so I drew some light rays coming through the Art Deco themed window. The background is actually just my own bathroom that I traced, and I just added those windows and the cool pot plants. I thought it would make the space look more lived in and interesting. I also decided later on in the month that Celeste should have like longer fingernails to, 1, show that she's more bird-like, and 2, to make her cooler. So in this one, she doesn't have like those long anime fingernails, but later she will. I do like this piece, but I wish I spent a little more time like figuring out her expression. I did realize through this challenge that it is something I need to work on, like expressions and like character acting. So that's going to be a long uphill battle, but we'll get there. Yeah, so like when I look at it now, it's kind of confusing like what she's feeling. She does look like she's crying, but also like you don't really know why. So I do want to like figure out also like how to do more storytelling in one piece. So there's a lot of weaknesses I have realized that I have, but that at least I know what to work on now. So yay, I'm really glad that I did this challenge. This drawing is still really good though. I'm glad that it exists because it's something I can build on. Day 9. So we're up to day 9. Day 9's prompt is joy and the color is red. So again, like you wouldn't expect joy and like red being associated together, but that's what ended up happening. The waves were really fun to paint, though I wish I spent a little more time like refining the waves, like adding thinner lines and more like speckles and stuff to make it look a bit more maybe not realistic but more aesthetic. But I didn't do it at the time because I was really tired and wanted to move on, so this is what we have. So for the idea, I thought about like what joy would mean to my characters rather than like what joy means to me. And I want there to be moments of like peace and quiet and just like my characters living their lives in between story points of my comics. So I decided that beach episode, right? Like there's always a beach episode in the animes, in the manga, you know, why can't I have one? So this is a beach episode. So this is Cass and Sol showing Celeste Earth's beaches. Celeste's home is on a high, like really high mountain surrounded by land. So she's never interacted with the ocean herself. So this is like a very exhilarating experience for her. And I also made sure that Sol was the one who was like, you know, taking her around because one, it shows that he can walk around because he can. And two, he's the one who managed to convince her to join their team, which we will get to see in the comic. Yay! Celeste has always wanted to escape her duties to go find her older siblings, so Sol's invitation to explore the universe was something she just couldn't pass up. I really like this drawing, and I really do like how it turned out. It's a very chill one, which you wouldn't expect from such a vibrant and energetic color like red. But I feel like I managed to make it more calming and more joyful. I think they're having a good time. I hope that the joy part comes across in the prompt, but yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. Day 10. Day 10's prompt was self, and the prompt list mentions that you can draw a self insert or draw like you meeting your characters, and I kind of did both in a way. I drew what I'd look like to my characters if I were to like meet them. So I drew my sonar. Yeah, so I drew my sonar because like I imagine that they'd meet like a filtered version of me. They wouldn't see me for me because that would freak them out, I think. Yeah, so that's my sonar watching over my characters with her hands on the table. I decided to draw her hands because it shows the scale a bit more. So in this, in my comics universe, deities are a lot larger than humans. They are always bigger. Physically, it shows that they are on a different, like, I guess level. You'd say they're like higher beings, right? So, like for them to be bigger, it just makes them feel more important. And I think that is really important. My sonar also has a crown to make her look more royal and like godlike, I guess. I also drew her like glowing faintly so she would blend into the background a bit more. At the end of the day, I did create them, so I am low-key playing God over here. So, you know, my sonar should feel like a deity when she's meeting my characters. So fun fact, I ended up drawing this prompt twice. So this is the original. I didn't like it, and I think it was mostly due to the scale. So where I cropped her body off, like it's usually fine to crop it there, but I think for the vision I was going for, it didn't make sense. I felt like I either needed to like zoom in more, so you know, crop out most of her body, or zoom out and put her whole body. And I also don't like that with this like composition I could only add one character. I'd rather have all of them in there, so that's why I ended up redrawing it. It is good that I drew this first one because if it wasn't for the first one, I wouldn't have drawn the second one. And Yeah, I do like how the hair turned out in the first one, but I didn't draw that in the second one because I felt like it would take away too much attention from my characters, because even though my Sona is the main big focus because the prompt itself, I still wanted it to be plain enough that you would look around and then look at my other characters. So I feel like the second drawing is a lot better. It fit my vision better. So that's what you get to see mostly. And I especially like how her glasses are pink. So these glasses that I'm wearing now are transitions. So when I go in the sun, they turn into sunnies pretty much. And I think it's fitting that she has pink transitions. See, that would be really cool if they made pink transitions. Yeah, so in this made-up universe, they can do that. I think it's pretty interesting that like my Sono wears glasses in the first place because like first of all she's not real. But second of all, like she can't see like me. Oh my god. Imagine being a god and you can't see. That's crazy. Day 11. Day 11's prompt is Lily. So in this OC-tober like prompt list that I chose, a few of the prompts have only a color palette as the prompt. So I decided to make this into free prompts, seeing as I'm doing Huevember as well. You know, these palettes don't really match the rainbow aesthetic of Huevember. So yeah, these are free prompts. And for this one, I chose Lily. Lily is another OC. She's a bear on fire, pretty much. I don't have much experience with creature design just yet, so for now, she's a bear with just like a long tail, and she's also on fire. So Lily is a deity, and in this universe, that means she has a duty to preserve and protect her world. In her case, she's actually in charge of burning old growth to make space for new life. I know that like when you think of preserve, you think of like keeping life around, but you know, wildfire is actually very important to the life cycle of a forest, and you know, we do need some destruction for life to exist, and that's why she's on fire. So because she's based on a bear, she has hibernation. So after her 100-year hibernations, she wakes up and she roams around the world looking for fish to eat and leaving ash in her wake. And this cycle, she actually has cubs to take care of. So meet her 3 little baby cubs. Oh my god, they're so cute. Lily is the only one who has a name because in my comic that I made for uni, which is what all of my characters are based off actually. So in that story, Sol is basically stranded on her planet and she finds him and Loki kidnaps him. And after a while, Sol like learns how the planet works and she learns where she lives. So Lily actually lives in a greenhouse, and in this greenhouse are some very special plants. And one of these plants are lilies of the valley. And Sol, after learning that she is in charge of like, you know, destroying life to make new life, because lily of the valley, they represent death back here on earth, he calls her Lily. And anyway, she accepts his name because she finds it very cute that a little human named her. And that's why she's the only one who has names. You know, if you guys have any thoughts about what the cubs could be called, let me know. There's 3 of them. One of them's a girl and 2 of them are boys. But to be fair, that doesn't really matter, they're bears. So originally Lily had orange flames, like, you know, like normal fire. But after painting her in pink, because, you know, this prompt is pink, I thought that she looks really cool. Like, it's really fun and whimsical that she has like pink fire, and I think that's like way more interesting than doing the boring orange and red. So I might just keep painting her in pink. That twisting design she has on her chest is a symbol that only deities have. It means that the universe chose her to act on its behalf. It's supposed to look like a galaxy that's spreading out. I think I'll have to work on that symbol a little bit more, but yeah, that's what the twisting design is. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, Lily has 3 cubs. They're very playful and cheeky because they're children. They like to play with the wisp cats that hang out in the trees above them. while their mother burns all the trees. I think this drawing turned out really cute. I do want to get stuck into creature design so I can make her more interesting and not just a teddy bear. But yeah, this is Lily, no carbs, and I hope you like them because I love them. Day 12. So day 12's prompt was passed and the color is a very pretty magenta. So I decided to draw the first time Cass and Sol met. They met at recess in primary school. Cass was a very reserved child. He found a lot of people boring, and somehow this made other kids angry, and he got into a lot of fights. So his parents moved to a new area, hoping that this new start could help him make friends instead of enemies. So on his first day, in his first recess, Cass was going out to the playground and he saw a kid watching the others on the bench. This kid was very scrawny, and as Cass will recall, he was wearing the biggest freaking glasses he'd ever seen in his whole life. Cass instantly recognized that this kid probably gets bullied for his scrawniness. So Cass decides to go up to him and ask him, well, why aren't you playing with the other kids? And then Sol sheepishly said that his legs hurt, and Cass is like, yes, I see. Okay, so would you like to do some coloring instead? That's probably what he said. And Sol agrees. So this was the beginning of a lifelong friendship. Okay, so let's talk about the actual work now. This was a very interesting journey to the finish line. I looked up like 3D models of schools, like because I've never drawn a school and I don't think I would ever have to, so first time for everything. I didn't like any of these models that I saw, so I don't know. I just sat there thinking. And then I remembered that I have Devon L. Kurtz's city brushes, so I decided to use the textured window brush, and then I added some doors myself to make it look like a school. I also added like those fences on the top to make it look more like an anime school. I'm actually not sure like if Japanese schools let their kids go on the roof, but I always see it in anime and it looks cool, so I was like, yeah, maybe my story will have that too. We don't even have, well, actually, I was gonna say Aussie schools don't have it, but I went to a public school, so maybe my school didn't have like any upstairs because well, it's a public school. Yeah, but I guess this fantasy primary school does have stairs. Anyways, both of the boys are holding juice boxes, so I figured that like Sol is an apple juice kid while Cass is an orange juice kid. Yes, I've had I've had many conversations with my school friends about which is better, and I'm on team both are good. I based the uniforms off of Aussie primary schools as well. Well, I mean, at least my public school. So my school had like these jerseys that had like the school logo printed on at the front, like here. And these jerseys don't have anything on the back because the year sixes, they get to have hoodies with their year level and their name at the bottom on the back. So it's like a privilege for reaching like your last year of primary school. And also like year 12 also have that privilege. They get jerseys with their name and the year and all their classmates on there as well. So yay. And underneath these jackets we usually wear polos and then like, I don't know, straight pants. So the school system in my universe is pretty similar to like how normal Aussie schools go, you know, English, math, humanities, whatever. But they also have like classes based on updated knowledge, so they all learn technomancy, which is basically technology and magic mixed together. So these kids learn how to make like magic circles, they learn how to cast basic healing spells, and they also learn how to use mana crystals to power up their tools, because that's how their world works. Yay! You know what? Going to this school sounds way more fun than it sounds now. So I would say that a lot of these kids probably don't even realize the privilege that they have, and they probably hate school anyway. Well, anyways, baby Cass and Sol reveal. Yippee! I like how this drawing turned out. I want to do more like flashback kind of things where I show more of their like primary school days and high school days. Now that I'm way out of school, there's a bit of a nostalgia goggles on, so I can just reminisce on all the good times and not the bad. Day 13. So day 13's prompt is future, and it's a dark purple. I mean, I know I'm wearing pink, but I'll wear purple in the next video. For this, I decided to draw the earth that my characters live in. So, this earth uses technomancy, as I just said. This is a world that uses technology and magic and mixes them both together. In this universe, magic crystals suddenly started growing up from the ground, and these crystals contain massive amounts of clean energy. The bigger they are, the more energy they have, and humans decided to use this to power their lives. I will say it's probably not a good idea to solely rely on one power source, so these humans don't. They use a mix of sustainable energies because let's just say they used up all their fossil fuels and had to think of something. So now they all use sustainable energy, you know, solar, wind, water, mana crystals, I guess. I decided to make these like crystals work how I guess crystals work now. You know how people get like citrines or rubies and then they charge them in the moonlight? So I really like that idea, and I want these crystals in this universe to like work like that. So the crystals that earthlings use, they need to recharge it every full moon, okay? And that's how the energy gets restored, and that's how it's clean, because it just takes the mana particles in the air, it sucks them all up, and is powered up by the moon. Yippee! But there aren't enough mana crystals to power up the whole world yet. So one of the main goals of the ESS, which is the Earthling Star Service, if you remember from my last video, one of their main goals is to study other mana crystals and use what they've learned to power their home planet. Okay, so let's talk about the piece. There's like a lot that I want to talk about, so let's get into it. I decided to go with the solar punk / like sci-fi theme. These buildings have solar panels and like little sci-fi towers that suck up all the matter particles in the air to power the buildings. And there's also trees at the bottom, so you can tell that these humans mix nature with their cities. I find solarpunk to be a beautifully optimistic view of the future. We all know the crushing weight of the dystopia we live in, so you know, any idea that's like slightly optimistic is great in my eyes. I really wish I had the speed paint for this. I want to watch it so bad. Oh my god, it was really fun to draw all the skyscrapers. I also used Devanel Cuts City brushes again to make these buildings. It made the process a lot more faster, you know, because I didn't have to draw each individual rectangle. So let's zoom in and look at all the details. Here in this front building, I drew a couple of solar panels and sci-fi towers that like look cool. Down here, I made a greenhouse inside the building so that the residents / employees can visit the little garden on their breaks. There's a bridge that connects two buildings together, and of course, it's lined with trees. I imagine that it's wide enough for people to go across, like either with a bike or walking. This next building has an arch at the bottom. The designers of this world would probably try weird stuff to make their cities look interesting. They have both magic and normal physics to work with, so I bet that they would have a lot of fun. So going up, there are roads that connect all around the city. I think that people would use magic scooters and stuff to go across these, maybe flying cars too, I don't know. Let's talk about the things in the background. There are a lot more humans in the future, so where can they live? There's only so much land that they can use, so, you know, look up, there's heaps of space in the sky. So, humans can live in the sky now. They're pretty high up, so the clouds can obscure them. Capitalism will probably always exist, so I imagine a lot of richer people live up there. Earth also has a lot of residents from other planets living there. So of course, these residents will need homes that are comfortable to them. So there are underground cities as well, though not as many as the surface. I didn't draw them in this drawing because I didn't have enough room. Maybe I'll make a drawing in the future. To be honest, this earth is so cool. Like, I don't know why you would ever want to leave. I believe that humans have like an innate curiosity about the world around them. So while ESS agents do explore the universe for the betterment of humanity, they also do it to satiate their own curiosity about the universe. Yay! So I guess that's why you would want to leave, because you want to see what else is out there. Day 14. Day 14's prompt was AU and the color is purple again. So in this context, AU means alternate universe. Artists use AUs to explore their characters' personalities through the lens of different media. And for some reason, I had this crazy urge to draw my characters in the My Little Pony universe. So here are my characters as ponies. So I decided to make Celeste and Cass Pegasi. Celeste, well, it makes sense. She already has wings and she already flies. So yeah, Celeste, because being a healer is very important, like to her character and her role in my little group. I think that she would be like some sort of medic in the My Little Pony universe. I don't know. There's probably a hospital that these ponies have, and then maybe she picks them up and takes them there with her wings. So that's why she gets like a plus sign with wings, because, well, she's a pony medic. Cast as a pony was a really fun thought exercise. I think he'd have wings so that he can fly around and find interesting ingredients to make really delicious dishes. Cass loves to cook, and if he wasn't an ESS agent, he would actually be working at like a fancy restaurant as like a Michelin slash chef or something. So in the MLP universe, Cass would be a Pegasus who makes weirdly delightful dishes. And that's why he gets a little chef hat for his cutie mark. Vishali and Zarveen are unicorns because in my universe they are mages. They literally use magic. So of course that makes sense. Vishali would probably have a like interest in growing crystals or like something crystal related. So that's why she gets like diamonds and stars as her cutie mark, because like she likes the shiny stuff like Rarity. Zarveen would probably be a knight in the royal palace, so that's why he gets a sword with a leaf wreath around. He'd use his magic to protect the princesses. We need an Earth Pony representation too, so Sol is the only Earth Pony. Sol gets like books and a pen writing because, well, being a researcher is very important to his character in my universe, so he'd probably have the same interests as a pony. So I reckon that Sol would be someone who, some pony who would read ancient pony texts to make every pony's life better, I guess. Well, unfortunately, we've come to the end of the video. Did you like my drawings? What would you have done if you had these prompts? I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the video even though you didn't get to watch your speed paints. And don't worry, I'm crying with you. Thank you for watching this silly little video. If you liked what you saw, don't be shy. Please leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Please like and subscribe. I wish only the best for you, and I hope to see you in the next video. See ya!